Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another week of Pie Watch, where we dive deep into some of the players' performances and analysis going into the game. And in this case, it is against North Melbourne. So we'll rip out two or three players. Yeah, I've got three listed, so it will be three. It won't be two or three. And we'll have a chat and do some really intriguing statistics and some that caught me offside. So stick around to get the full gist of it. And we'll start with Josh Daicos. Josh Daicos in the last 5 games has earned 28 coaches' votes, which is more than any general defender in the league. For those who don't know what a general defender is, I just pretty much, maybe it's a nicer way of not saying small to medium-sized players, so they say general instead. So barring your key defenders, your general defenders are your small to medium-sized players, and Josh Daicos certainly fits that category. So 28 coaches' votes in the last 5 games is massive. It just goes to show how much of an impact he's having off the halfback flank, and it's crazy to think that he's probably going to be a player who has earned All-Australian rights in the wing position, and now we're going to see potentially another Blazer playing off the halfback flank. So he is so versatile, and I could only imagine what Josh Daicos could do moving forward, playing as a forward in the long term of his career. I'm enjoying and I'm content with where he's at right now, with the position and role he's playing. But I'm just curious, could he potentially be a player who has 3 All-Australian Blazers in 3 different positions throughout his career? I mean, he is the son of Peter Daicos, and he has played forward before. He has kicked goal of the year before, so he's certainly capable. So just keeping that one in mind. And what is Josh's greatest asset right now off the halfback flank? A lot of you will say his disposal and his vision and his composure. I get that. But I actually think, especially after the game against Adelaide, where it was a real rugged, contested game, which is probably what you're going to get in the final series, was his ability just to mop up at ground level. He couldn't fumble, and it was wet out there. Like, it doesn't make sense how he's able to, he doesn't double grab. He's just cleat, sweet hand pass, kick, whatever it may be. Doesn't rush his thought process behind anything. So I think that is his greatest feat, and I'm sure not too far beneath it is his kicking ability, obviously. So, and tie that in with right now, in the last 5 games, he's averaging 29 disposals per game, which again is number 1 in the league amongst general defenders. Not only that, he's operating an 84% kicking efficiency, which with that level of volume of disposals, nobody comes near that. The nearest is Lockie Ash, 4% below, averaging 28 disposals. So 28 disposals along with an 80% kicking efficiency. So no one is really close or in the same atmosphere as Josh Daicos with what he's been able to achieve right now. So just keep finding Josh Daicos off the halfback flank. And you want to know why maybe Dan Houston is having a lesser season right now. Well, Josh is also receiving 13.2 handball receives in his last 5 games per game, right? So Collingwood are finding Josh Daicos as much as they possibly can. Give the ball to him at all costs, right? Dan Houston, in comparison, is only getting 5 handball receives per game. So Dan Houston is being asked to do it a different way. Dan Houston is not taking as many kick-ins as he was at Port Adelaide. He's not getting the handball receives that maybe he was getting at Port Adelaide. So it's a different role for Houston, and that's okay. That's why I'm not stressed about this form of Dan Houston. I think he's playing his role well. Could he be 10, 15% better? Probably. Has he had a lack of continuity? Yes. Injury, suspension, blah, blah, blah. I'm totally fine with that. Next one is Billy Goat Frampton. I'll always preface this year. I have to preface this. I was his biggest harshest critic in the last 12 months. And I've learned a couple things from that. One is don't ever underestimate someone. Don't ever think they can't turn it back around. Maybe more than 2 points. My second point is it's really important how the team is playing because it enables certain players to thrive, like Billy Frampton. And my third point is I'm learning to be less critical. Like I will be critical of players, but maybe I was a little bit too harsh on Billy Frampton at times, and sometimes you forget about the impact you might have across the wider community, Collingwood community. So I'm just being a little bit more mindful of that, and I'm learning. I've only been doing this for a year, so I'm just trying to find my place and how I want to deliver things. So I feel like I'm starting to find this space where I really like to be in, where I'm not super negative. I'm not like overly optimistic. I'm not like cheery and that's not me. So I'm just finding this balance. I think I'm getting there, but I digress. So Billy Frampton, his kicking efficiency. We talked about Josh Daicos' kicking efficiency. Billy Frampton, in his last 2 seasons prior to 2025, was averaging 66% kicking efficiency across the 2 years. Sorry, I'm busy. I can't take this call right now. I'll call you later, and I'll put this on silent. Bless you. So, from 66% kicking efficiency between 23 and 24, it's currently all the way up to 85%. And beyond those numbers, I do feel a sense of more trust with Billy Frampton with the ball. He's not going for difficult kicks. That's fine. He's never really done that. But he's just hitting the simple kicks. He's making the right decisions. Whereas in the past, you almost hold your breath when Billy Frampton has the ball in his hand and he's about to put it on his boot. Different story this year. 7 games in, he's proving us otherwise. So, love that. The next one. Now, this one is going to blow you away. Billy Frampton is number 2 in the league overall in the last 5 games for 1%ers, averaging 8.6 1%ers per game. Shall we start calling Billy Frampton Mr. 1%er? We knew how well he was going, and I think that stat, I reckon Fly would be, he'd be tugging something beneath his hips looking at that stat, because that shit gets him excited and it gets us fans excited. When we see effort, we say effort's intangible, but sometimes you can find some variables in some of the statistics that might suggest otherwise. And 8.6 1%ers at number 2 in the league overall in the last 5 games, that's a nice feather in Billy Frampton's cap right now. Along with that, career highs, by the way, now. Career high in intercept possessions, 5.6 for the season. Career high in intercept marks, 1.9 per game across the board of this season so far. The intercept marks and intercept possessions will also, a large factor is the fact that we're set up so well. Forward half, we lock it in, we get the territory. Ball, they boot it out, bang, Billy Frampton mark. But he's also taking some really nice marks in our defensive half when intercepting. So he's really ticking all the boxes, and I'm glad he's proven me wrong. I really am, because he's provided the solution, the Nathan Murphy solution that we always talk about, right? Good man, Billy. Good man. Lastly, Harry Perryman. You could almost argue he is statistically almost having a lesser season compared to most of his seasons gone by thus far in his career. But there are some beyond the eye test, because we know he passed the eye test. So he's clearly there to fulfill a role. Hey, mate, wing. Hey, mate, halfback. Hey, mate, play forward. Hey, mate, centre bounce, tag. He's there. He does the job, no questions asked, and ensures that other players are thriving in other roles. Top 15 amongst general defenders for intercept possessions in the last 5 games at 5.8 intercept possessions. A career high in intercept marks, 1.5. And he's top 8 amongst general defenders for tackles at 3.4. Those stats, once again, those are the fly. I would call them fly metrics. That's what I'm going to call them. 1%ers, tackles, intercept possessions. These are fly metrics. That's the shit that gets him off. I'm telling you. So they're not crazy numbers, but they're numbers to appreciate. And then when you tie that in with what we're seeing on game day from Pez, and we don't even get to touch the precipice of, or the, what's the word, the cusp of what his leadership is like on field. We've seen him at training, but just the guidance and the communication and leadership that we don't really see as fans on game day is probably something that should not be undermined and should be factored into all of this, but it's hard to when we're from the outside looking in. That is Pie Watch for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Go Pies.